Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fintech Combine. I am your host, Kris Kovacs, and this is the series where we talk with and sometimes about community-based institutions, their digital transformation projects, and we meet the entrepreneurs, innovators, and fintechs that make it all possible. On this episode, we're going to speak with Will Dolan, the president of Tapp Engine, about the new platform he's bringing to connect credit union members and investing. So if you're ready, let's suit up and get out on the field. Will, I'm super excited to have you on the pod today. Why don't we start by having you tell people a little bit about yourself and your background?
Sure, Kris. Thanks for having me. Great to be here. I'm Will Dolan. I'm the president of Tapp Engine. Tapp Engine's a fintech company providing solutions into the credit union space. We've been at it for about 2 years now, and I am. Prior to that, I was CEO of a company called FinanceWare, which was a private equity-owned holding company. I actually ran 3 different companies: a wealth management firm, a software business, and a data business. And prior to that, I spent about 16 years at Fidelity Investments in the Boston area in a variety of different roles. But the last role I had there was I ran a software company in their venture capital portfolio. So really happy to be working on this startup and supporting the needs of credit unions, and happy to be on your podcast today.
So tell me, how did the idea for Tapp Engine come together?
So I joined as the number 2 in the business. Our founder, Tosa Nosunshanya, is a serial entrepreneur who's been building companies in the wealth management space, brokerage space for a number of years. And he had an idea and an opportunity to try to bring some new capabilities to credit unions to help credit unions compete with larger financial services organizations. So he's got a deep background in trading technology and a number of different brokerage solutions. And he brought me on as an advisor to start. And I've been here ever since, and we continue to grow and find new ways to support credit unions and their members. And really was kind of born out of his ideas, and then became a real joint effort here. And we're now, the team's growing, the ideas are growing, and our client base is growing as a result.
That's wonderful. So were credit unions the original focus, or were credit unions a market you found as you were developing the product?
So that's a great question, because we were not originally looking at this purely from the credit union's point of view. We were looking at a variety of I would say middle tier financial services intermediary firms. So organizations like broker dealers and registered investment advisors, community banks, credit unions, organizations that had a real strong relationship with their members and customers, but lacked the ability internally to develop their own capabilities to expand their products and solutions to be able to compete. And so we were looking to find an opportunity to bring these brokerage and wealth management solutions to a broader community. But what we found out very quickly is that, really focusing and delivering within the credit union space has been a major source of success and a significant opportunity and market opportunity for us. So we've continued to stay focused in this space, but we do have the ability down the road to broaden that into community banks and other types of financial intermediaries as well.
Yeah, your kind of service has been so desperately needed inside the credit union industry. Tell me a little bit, what specifically does Tapp Engine do, and how does it enable and support the needs of credit union members?
You bet. So Tapp Engine is an investment provider, really supporting self-directed investment for lower dollar investments for credit union members who are looking to begin that journey in terms of trying to build their wealth and don't have all the tools that they need to do it at the credit union. So we've built a white labeled solution to connect into the credit union digital banking platform to create a streamlined and seamless member experience and give members the opportunity to start that investment journey. A big component of this is education and financial literacy. We have an area where we can plug in the credit union's education platform, or we can use some third-party platforms to be able to create that education content. And we've developed our own proprietary practice trading area where members can learn how to invest and do so with fake money before they actually put their own capital to risk, as a way to just make sure that these newer investors are getting that training and that education they need before they understand, how to get into the markets and start to build their wealth. But be careful about it along the way, knowing that, investments fluctuate. So then we've built the full-on brokerage capabilities. So we registered with FINRA as a broker-dealer. We're also registered as an investment advisor with the SEC. So we have the full infrastructure and operating capabilities behind the scenes to be able to operate this platform for the credit union, so that it's not just a fintech and the credit union has to do everything themselves. We're the full operating model behind the scenes. We offer fractional share trading, so that if members don't have the ability to buy a whole share of Tesla, as an example, they can buy that in dollar increments, and we do the math behind the scenes to handle the full share trading, but giving access to those partial shares to members that need smaller dollar investment type of opportunities. And if they don't want to select their own investments, we have a robo product which they can answer a series of questions to determine suitability, and then we generate results and put them into a variety of different ETF models that come out based on their risk tolerance and their investment input that they put into the system. So there's a lot of opportunities for them to start the investment process, do so with low dollars. What we heard from a number of our clients is that they lost significant deposits over the years to other digital platforms like Robinhood, platforms like Coinbase, platforms like Fidelity, and other brokerage platforms that have the full service capabilities. But also, when they have those services, they try to sell them all kinds of other things that compete with the credit unions. So this is really a way for us to put the credit unions on a level playing field with the larger full services firms, and do so in a low cost manner that provides these kind of broader product opportunities and non-interest deposit revenue opportunities to the credit union as well.
Do credit unions use Tapp Engine to target beginning investors or established investors, or perhaps even high net worth individuals?
So the platform can really resonate and work for anybody that either is never invested or has been investing for years and considers themselves to be experts at it. So it's really intended for those members that like to have their own control. However, many of the credit unions in the industry have wealth management programs with human advisors that are in their branches. And what we've been able to work with for those institutions is this really is being targeted toward the broader segment of the credit union member base that doesn't have the assets that enable them to qualify for those wealth management programs. So there's certain limits that they get to a point where they, that human advice program becomes something they qualify for. But more than 80% of the credit union members don't have enough deposits on hand to be able to qualify for those programs. So we feel that this is a perfect complement to that, because it gets new members and existing members who are interested in investing, gets them involved in the process, gives them education along the way. And once they hit a certain point, we can refer them into the wealth management program at the credit union if they need that professional advisor to help guide them along that next chapter of their investment journey. So they really sit nicely alongside each other, and therefore we can help credit unions cover a much broader member base. So you can, if you have $20 or if you have $200,000, there's programs in place to be able to support you along that journey.
You mentioned Robinhood and Coinbase. Do you also enable credit union members to buy cryptocurrencies?
We do. So our product roadmap but our product set includes equities, options, ETFs, and fixed income is on the roadmap. We do have the ability to trade digital assets as well. And that's through a relationship that we've formed with Anchorage Digital, one of the only regulated crypto banks that's out there. The world has been a little shy about moving into the digital asset space as aggressively as they were several years ago, with some of the hangover of FTX and some of the other firms that went under. However, we are hearing from credit unions, and we see in the marketplace that digital assets and the underlying blockchain technology will continue to play an important role in the investment management industry, among others. And so we are committed to providing that. The best thing about our capabilities is the credit union can decide which components to use. So if they don't think their members are ready to trade options, they don't have to turn that feature on. If they don't want to add digital assets, they don't have to do that. But if they want to, and they only want to handle the 5 most liquid digital coins, we can restrict also the specific coins that they trade. But that's not our choice. That's really up to the credit union to determine, what member experience they're looking to create. And we customize and white label that accordingly.
For that member experience, do the credit unions get to choose how you integrate?
Yes, they do. So we are currently working with most of the major digital banking providers, and that integration can be as simple as a single sign-on, or can get a little further embedded into API integration as well. That again is going to be something that the credit union will provide some guidance to us around. But we're building the capability and the library of APIs to be able to support a deeper integration. Some credit unions would like this to be tied to their digital banking platforms. Others are looking at this as a standalone. And actually, one of our clients is using this as a standalone because they're trying to attract new members. And so get people interested in the investment app for the credit union actually before they become a credit union member, and then use our platform to be able to guide them toward some of the core credit union capabilities as well. So it's an interesting dynamic how they want to go to market with it. But so there's really a couple different ways in which they can approach that integration.
I would imagine that really opens up a lot of opportunities. To be able to choose what you're investing in and kind of how you're accessing it. And I can definitely see how that could be appealing from a new member acquisition standpoint.
It opens up a new market to them. And actually, we've been doing analysis with our clients, looking at the platforms where the deposit's going, look at some of the member demographics. And for credit unions to go after that younger market, they're definitely going to need to have these types of newer digital capabilities.
That's exactly right. I would imagine, though, one of the big barriers to doing this in the past is just the regulatory demand, right, for managing all these different kinds of services and assets. How do you guys manage that and help the credit union stay in compliance with the regulatory demands?
That's one of the biggest services that we offer is the regulatory and operating model that we've created. Not to mention the technology that we've built on our own to be able to access the markets, to be able to route orders, to be able to handle fixed messaging, to be able to provide market data and other solutions. We've really spent quite a bit of time, I think the majority of the last 2 years, setting up that entire framework, and then also working with FINRA and the SEC to make sure that we have that that rigorous and robust compliance and operating mechanism behind the scenes to be able to handle that on behalf of our clients. And so credit unions can rest assured that we have the right service protocols in place. We have all of the mechanisms for security and technology sophistication. We launched this business and already had our SOC 2 Type 2 certification on the technology side, but we continue to get audited on a routine basis by FINRA and the SEC. So have to demonstrate our entire protocol for how we operate and handle all the different types of activity, and then our credit unions will have us as a backstop for all operational, regulatory, compliance, reporting, everything. And we track everything that we do and the clients do on the system. We track all the member activity, and we provide an enormous amount of data to our clients as well, so they can really keep an eye on how their members are using this system, what they're not using, how they can continue to tailor that. And so it becomes, in addition to just being that regulatory backstop, we're helping them along this journey with success and the adoption of the program and the evolution of it within the credit union, so that they can continue to evolve with their members as their members are looking for new features and new capabilities. And
right.
that's a big part of the value proposition that Tapp Engine offers.
It's I wonder, was it the nature of the services you provide or a specific strategy that helped you arrive at the understanding that you needed to have compliance out of the gate, right? So many startups, start with, here's the problem I'm trying to solve. I'm going to get to the service. And then the first institution they run into, like, well, there's these things called risk and compliance. Have you done any of it? To what do you attribute the success of being able to do that out of the gate?
It was very planful. We all come from brokerage backgrounds. So having spent much of my life as a registered FINRA representative, Series 7, 63, 55, 24, and having to go through not only the personal journey of being compliant with all of the securities regulations, all the businesses that we've been involved with prior, operational risk, regulatory compliance, the mandates associated with that. Really something that needs to be thought out very carefully upfront before you start going live with any client activity. And so that was very much the design of Tapp Engine and the way that we built the business sort of from the ground up. Probably took us a little longer to get to market as a result of that. But it's going to help us be successful in operating the business as we scale and we grow in the years to come.
How did you help communicate that to your engineers and developers who were building the solution, right? How did you share that the needs? Because I don't think they probably weren't, certified and having taken the necessary exams to be certified. Maybe they have been, I don't know. But like, how do you help share that with your product teams and your engineers about that this is so critical? It's a part of our business that, it can make you or break you.
Yeah, I mean, we have compliance officers on staff. We have a CTO that comes with a deep background in building these types of solutions across the industry. So it's really the leadership and the expertise of the leadership that starts the process. And then, as we look to hire talent, we lay a framework and a foundation for how they need to operate these. This is the framework through which you need to develop these capabilities. We provide them some training. There's actually some fairly good technical material out there to be able to hand to certain associates that will help them understand kind of what their responsibilities are in terms of their particular piece of the code. And how it needs to be designed in such a way that it complies with the rest of the way that we operate the company. So a lot of that is really good, is leadership and training. We've got one of the best chief technology officers I've ever worked with.
That's wonderful. There's got to be a tremendous amount of data that you're generating out of this, right? So like, how do you provide that data back to the credit unions or give them access to be able to see what's happening inside the system?
So a couple different ways. We actually provide all of the different elements in which we collect data, and we're collecting information on everything that's happening on our platform, whether it's user initiated or system or market. And we have the way that clients can take that through APIs and push that into their own data platforms, or they can request, various reports or specific feeds of data that we can send to them directly, and we can pull that into their enterprise platforms. We can push that into their enterprise platforms. But we are recording everything, and we are starting to incorporate some artificial intelligence and some machine learning around that. So part of what we're trying to do is, depending on what type of investor, what type of a user you are, you may want to see certain things on the platform and not see certain things. So as we learn more about each of the members' behavior, we'll have the ability down the road to create that really customized experience for those members that resonates with the types of things that they're spending most of their time with and looking toward, and eliminate some of the noise of these other features that they haven't used during the time that they've been there. So, and that gives us the ability to really help the credit unions drive success and adoption through the platform, so that we're not just creating this investment platform that's got so many choices, members don't know what to do.
Yeah, it can be so complex, right? You see I was using a service the other day, and I went to go find like how to service one piece of it, and you're digging through menus trying to find this thing because it's full of stuff I never use, right? So to your point, how do we make using the system more consistent with the member needs and easier to use at the same point? That's a great use case for AI. Right.
Absolutely is.
How do you guys stay aware of what the changing needs of consumers are and give your credit unions the ability to react to those?
So, part of the conversation we just talked about around how we're using data within the system to learn and be responsive to that, that's a major component of it. But another key aspect of how we've built this company is we bootstrapped it for the first couple of years, and then we took professional money in, but it was directly from credit unions, so that our investors are our clients, and along that journey, they've been able to help educate us to really get a more deep view into that relationship that exists between a credit union and their member. We've learned an enormous amount from our investors and our clients. And that is an incredibly important part of the way that we've focused our business and the way we've developed the user experience, so that it's very much in line with that member credit union relationship. That's such an important part of their brand. That's why you don't see our logo anywhere. We're white labeled. We're behind the scenes. I sometimes refer to us as the plumbers in the financial services industry, because we're doing everything in the back to make everything run smoothly. We do present the interface and we do create all that capability, but it looks and feels like the credit union's experience. So, our focus is really just to be behind the scenes to support that relationship. And we learn an enormous amount from working with them. And each new credit union that comes on board, they not all work the same, but they all have interesting perspectives. They have different areas of focus that are important to them, whether it's education and financial literacy, whether it's going after that low dollar investor, whether it's providing a broader set of competitive capabilities so they can stop the flow of deposits out. But they all center this around the member experience and the way that they can be helpful with their mission, helpful in their communities. And so we've been trying to align our mission and strategy with that to help us grow.
How has your time and experience at Fidelity informed your approach to delivering this solution for credit union members?
So when you spend 16 years anywhere, you certainly get influenced, I guess is the best way to put it. I was very lucky to have the experience that I had at Fidelity in terms of my role over the time that I was there. I was able to do things there that were not typical of a big company, bureaucratic organization. So I learned how to be entrepreneurial. I was given opportunity to try to run things. I was given opportunities to try to fix things. I led a multi-company program, where we built international capabilities for all of Fidelity's brokerage platforms. And then we started to create new entities outside the US. So I got to build a business from the ground up in Canada as one of the first examples. So what Fidelity enabled me to do was to be able to take a risk, but also to take those risks in a way that made sure that you had that sort of operating excellence behind the backing, because Fidelity prides itself on the quality of its technology, the sophistication of its ability to operate their businesses, and the professionalism through which they go to market with anything that they do. And so being able to be part of that and learn how to operate within that more structured environment, but also been given some freedom to be creative and to be innovative and to try to drive some new opportunities. It's really well positioned me to help Tapp Engine along that journey as well. Because as we talked earlier, we need to have that professional companies operating excellence in place. While at the same time, we have to innovate and evolve and help our clients, specifically credit unions, expand the way that they think about the markets and the way they think about the services that they're going to need to be relevant down the road. So I think Fidelity's prepared me very, very well for that. The one thing that I enjoy being on the startup side is we all just jump in and roll our sleeves up and help and get involved in everything that we do. So as a matter of a daily type of activity, I might be negotiating a contract with a client. I might be doing a sales presentation. 2 hours later, I'm writing policies and procedure documents for our platform. I'm designing screen interfaces to help reposition something that I think would work better with our technology team. I'm testing prototypes on my iPhone so that our mobile app has the right level of validation and bug testing that as users we just so we're rolling our sleeves up and we're all doing a little bit of everything. So that camaraderie, that energy and that drive to get to market and to just roll your sleeves up and do anything. That's a cultural change that I've really appreciated and enjoyed in this type of an environment.
Yeah, when you move out of the big house and you are the name on the bottom of the check, right? It gets really interesting, the things that you have to do for sure.
That's right. That's right. It looks a little bit different.
What was it that gave you? So there's a lot of potential entrepreneurs, right, who are working for large companies. What is it that gave you the courage to take that step forward into the unknown and do something you hadn't done before?
I've always wanted to run a business, and I was lucky enough to be able to do that at Fidelity. So I started out in one of their divisions, moved to another division a couple of years later, started to get more senior management responsibilities, and then I was looking at to hopefully someday there to be able to take a division over, or to to run a company. And I was fortunate enough to have leaders within that organization that believed in me and provided opportunities. Just like people before them, it provided them opportunities. And
That's right.
Fidelity's culture at the time was very much about mobility, getting managers to try new things, to get involved in things that were taking them out of their norm and their day to day. And so the first opportunity I had was a software business that Fidelity had built, and then they commercialized it. And it was struggling. There were some challenges in the marketplace. It wasn't profitable. And, I had an opportunity. They said, "Hey, do you want to leave this comfortable management job and go run this small software company that's not working very well?" And when I thought about it on the surface, I said, "Well, that's pretty risky." And then I said, "Well, it's actually more risky not to do that, because I'm going to get the opportunity to, take this business over from end to end, own the revenue, own the client relationships, own the technology, own the operations, and really understand how to manage all that." And the benefit of doing that with Fidelity's backing was really a great training ground for me to be able to, learn how to be a leader, learn how to make hard decisions, learn how to, negotiate with clients and develop changes to a company that was struggling. So for me, that was an incredible experience that not a lot of people get, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. But it helps sort of train you for what comes in these types of roles where you're doing the pure startup, and but you have that background, you have that experience to be able to be successful, because you've been able to try these things out in other venues, and what works, what doesn't work, and it's able to kind of shape you in terms of how you want to lead things successfully going forward.
Are there words of advice you would have for other potential entrepreneurs?
Yes. The advice that I have is it's never too early to take an idea and try and run with it. I find that a lot of people that I've met who want to be entrepreneurs feel it's not the right time to do it, or that they don't have everything formulated yet to be able to take that idea to market. And what I've learned through the few companies, and I've run probably 4 or 5 companies, and I'm part of the leadership of Tapp Engine. I've learned that it's better to go out and take some risks and make some calculated decisions. And then if those decisions don't materialize the way that you want them to, you can pivot and you can learn from those decisions and continue to move things forward. So, so for me, I find that people wait too long until everything's either buttoned up to jump right into it. And at that point, it might be too late. And so I believe that the earlier you get started with this, the better. Of course, I'm saying that with my gray hair and my 50 years of experience, but this is my first startup that I've done. So it's
Right.
But I do believe that had I gotten started sooner on some of these things, it would have been a much more successful and different outcome.
Yeah, there's no amount of preparation that is going to be better than what you learn actually doing it.
That's right. And I think the second thing that comes to the top of my mind when I think about advice for other entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs in the making is really just learn how to listen, learn how to observe. I spent a lot of time at conferences. I spent a lot of time in meetings with sales efforts and trying to win business. And the more you do things like that, and the more you sit back and can understand the environment, you listen to people and what their day-to-day is like and what they're looking for. You listen to what's going on out there in the marketplace with regulators, with industry experts, and you just absorb as much as you can. It's an incredibly important and effective way to help shape the solutions that you're trying to bring to market also.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Very much so. I think that's very valuable. I wish I had listened and heard your advice earlier in my career, Will.
Well, sometimes people have an idea and you just run with it and you just put your head down. You think you know what you're doing, and then you look up and you might have missed the mark by a little bit. You may not have.
Yep.
You might have been perfectly spot on, but there are a lot more people out there that are smarter than I am that have incredible experience and backgrounds, and boy, are they fun to learn from and talk with and get to know. And so part of what I like to do at these events is network as much as I can. And whether it's another fintech entrepreneur, whether it's a regulator, whether it's an investor in our business, we're really lucky to have a surrounded small community that loves to help each other out. And credit unions and all of the peripheral service firms that are operating around the credit union space and within it, are really generous with their time and with their thoughts. And that's pretty unique, but it's incredibly helpful for startups working in this industry specifically.
Yeah, the banking, in particular, the credit union industry provides a really great and fertile ground for people with really great ideas to work with a interested, engaged community of investors and buyers, and those sometimes who are neither but still are interested in your success. Right.
That's right.
It's a really wonderful community in that way. If someone is interested in learning more about Tapp Engine, Will, how do they find out more?
So you can go to our website at tappengine.com. Easy to look us up. It gives a nice brief overview. Doesn't go too deep, but it covers sort of the basics of what we do. Also, through contacting me, William at tappengine.com. Send me a note. I'd love to talk. I'd love to connect and be happy to answer questions that you have. Set up a demo if you'd like to see what we're doing. We're always willing to share the product and prototypes so people can see.
Well, I really appreciate you joining us, and I think the world of Tapp Engine. I think it's a great product, and I hope lots of credit unions come knock on your door. I think it's something that will really help credit unions engage their members because they need engagement beyond checking my balance, right? And that's really what Tapp Engine can enable them to do.
And I think with this, they're going to have more opportunities to to drive that member experience. Think about how many times people look at their cell phones every day. And once they start doing investments on these platforms, they're going to be looking at their credit union, apps multiple times throughout the day, more touch points, more things to help build that relationship. And also, to support that journey that they're on to provide financial literacy and education and new solutions to remain competitive. And we're lucky and happy to be, one component of that. We also partner with other fintech platforms and have a lot of relationships we're building in the marketplace. But, and Kris, talking and getting to know you and, we appreciate all the conversations that we've had and especially this opportunity to be on your podcast and tell the world what we're doing. And, I think, we owe you a big thanks and appreciate this opportunity.
Anytime. You guys are definitely worth it. So thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, Kris. Take care.
This podcast is sponsored by Constellation. We're empowering community financial institutions with innovative digital solutions, powered by Fintech, driven by your roadmap. Join us as we navigate the future of digital banking together. For more information on how we can be your partner for digital transformation, visit www.constellation.coop.
That was a great conversation. Will, thank you very much for joining us on the podcast, and thank you for listening. Please remember to like and subscribe on your platform of choice, and check out LinkedIn and our audio channels for some additional bonus content. Thank you for watching. We will see you next time.